E.T. here. Most boxing fans believe that Sugar Ray Robinson and Roy Jones Jr. deserve the highest ranking as the best ever, pound for pound. But who between them ranks highest? Several criteria should be considered. For instance, who remained on top the longest? Now, Robinson began his pro career in October of 1940, and he ended it in November of 1965. Now, that's 25 years, during which time he fought 201 fights. His knockout percentage was 63%. He had 40 wins before losing to Jake LaMotta, and that decision was controversial, and it was avenged 2 times months later. Then he went on to get 80 or more fights with no losses. I think there were 2 draws, until finally there was a decision loss to Turpin in 1951. From then on to 1965, Robinson was great, but a bit more vulnerable. One time, he fought as a light heavyweight, and it was a loss to Joey Maxim because of heat exhaustion. Robinson was well on his way to winning on points. Now, that's the only time Ray Robinson did not finish a fight. Most of his early fights were as a welterweight, and he went on to win the middleweight title not once, not twice, but 3 times. Roy Jones Jr. began his pro career in May of 1989, and he ended it in April of 2023. That means he fought for 34 years, but he had only 76 bouts. But his KO percentage was higher than Robinson's at 71%. Roy Jones had 50 straight wins. Now, I'm discounting the first Griffin fight where he was disqualified and he immediately avenged. And among the 50 straight fights was a win over heavyweight John Ruiz, before the KO loss to light heavyweight Antonio Tarver, after which Jones lost 3 of his next 7 fights. He lost against Glenn Johnson by TKO, again to Tarver by unanimous decision, then to Joe Calzaghe, unanimous decision. After that, he had 2 wins, and then went on to lose to Danny Green by TKO, to who else? Oh, Bernard Hopkins, unanimous decision, and then he was knocked out by Denis Lebedev. Jones' remaining bouts were against good, but far lesser competition. Jones won titles in 3 weight divisions. And more about Jones. He began fighting 3 decades into the chemical enhancement era. You know what I'm talking about. He dominated the middleweight division, Jones did, like no other before or since, but for a far shorter period than did Robinson. Between 1989 and 2004, Jones had about 50 wins, and during that time, he displayed an unmatched dexterity, maneuverability, speed, power, that perhaps it's for you to decide, exceeded Robinson's. But Jones, after his loss to Tarver, never again regained that preternatural ring greatness. About Ray Robinson, he never displayed the characteristics associated with chemical enhancements, and they weren't even available for most of his career. At about the same height of Jones, 5 feet 11 inches, Robinson had about a 1.5-inch reach disadvantage. And he, too, Robinson, dominated multiple divisions, for a while as a lightweight, then welter and middleweight. And it went on for decades, showing a dexterity and maneuverability and speed and power perhaps as impressive as those of Jones, but for a far longer time during many more bouts. And unlike Jones, Robinson did not appear affected by his losses, very few losses. For example, his 1951 title loss to Randy Turpin was one that he quickly avenged. And unlike Jones, Ray was never knocked out, although, as I mentioned, he failed to answer the 13th round in that title fight against Maxim because of heat exhaustion. But unlike Jones, Robinson did duck certain opponents. Example, the 8 men who made up the infamous Black Murderers Row. And I'm thinking in particular of Charlie Burley, who as a middleweight was destroying heavyweights. Well, all of these facts and statistics, although interesting and in some sense persuasive, do not answer the big question: which man would win? A prime Sugar Ray Robinson? A prime Roy Jones Jr.? Well, I'll let you figure that one out. If you like this video, hit the thumb up icon, type in your comments below, do subscribe and share these videos. Thank you.